Welcome to another year of math. My name is Mrs. Ray, and I am so thankful for both Mrs. Dillon and Mrs. Hauser for laying the incredible foundation they have in your previous lessons. So this year, we are still going to be drawing pictures, playing with manipulatives, and exploring with some fascinating algorithms. So to get us started for our lesson today, I grabbed some Legos I've been building, and whenever you visualize something in your mind, like I was thinking of this Lego taxi that I was building. Now, when I visualize with what I'm going to build, we actually do this quite a bit with numbers as well. Visualizing them and what's happening with our numbers is really helpful in learning math. So we'll be doing a lot of that this year also. So grab your supplies and let's get started. We are going to begin jumping into the billions. But before we start there, let's work in the millions again. So remember, previously, we have our ones place, we have our thousands, and we have our millions. Now within each, what we call a period, so this is 1 period, 2, and 3, with each one we have ones, tens, hundreds, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, millions, 10 million, 100 millions. All right, so let's play with a number. Let's say we had, let's do 574 million, 300 and 8,000 and 120. Let's do 6. All right, so from here, what if I asked you what digit is in the hundred thousandths place? Well, you'd find your thousands, right? I bet you said 3. Yep, 3 is in our hundred thousandths place. All right, what if I asked you what was in our 10 millions place? Well, you heard that word million, so you go into our millions house. Yep, 7 is in our 10 millions place right here. So let's practice writing this again in expanded form. Now, you worked with this earlier. I'm going to use my purple pen and draw it out for us. But let's figure out the place value of each numbers and what it will look like in what we call expanded form. So first we have 500 million, right? So I'm going to write 500 million. What do you notice about my number here? Great. Yeah, you probably noticed that I put some commas between each of the periods. All right. Now we have 70, right? 7 tens would be 70 million. So we're going to add 70 million. Great. And then we're going to add, again, I'm putting my addition sign over here because I'd probably continue that way, but I'm going to bring it, kind of wrap it back down here. So we have 4 million. And then we're going to add, what would you call this? Yeah, 300,000. So 3, notice my columns are lined up too. It's going to help me. The value where I put all my zeros. So here we have 300,000, and then we're going to add, I don't have any 10,000s, so I don't need to add anything there. But now I'm going to go to my 8,000s. So make sure, don't put it in this column, but we're going to put it in our thousands column. I'm going to add 8,000, 100, 20, and 6. We're going to squeeze it over here because of our board here. Now I'm going to erase my additions all over here, and I can always put my big addition sign over here and add these up. But in expanded form, this is how it would look. 500 million plus 70 million plus 4 million plus 300,000 plus 8,000 plus 100 plus 26. All right, great review, you guys. So what if I gave you 999? And then I asked you, what if we added 1 to that? Now let's play with this with our place value discs. So I'm going to give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, representing my 900. And now I need 90. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And then I need my 9 ones. Ooh, 2, 4, 6. See how I'm counting by 2s here. 8. Oh, and an extra 9. Okay, so my place value discs are representing 999. Now, what if we added 1 to that? So if we added 1, can we have 10 in our ones column? No, we have to rename them. So since I have 10 here, I'm going to pull all those away. I'm going to put my 10. Uh-oh. Looks like I have 10 there again. So I'm going to pull all these 10s. 10 times 10 is 100. Put my 100 there. Now, how many hundreds do I have? 10. Can I have 10 hundreds there? No. I'm going to pull all those away. Yep, you knew it. 10 times 100 is going to give us 1,000. So I'm going to put a 1 in my thousands space there. See how that works? All right. Now, what if I gave you this number? Let's see. Let's do 999,900. That's a lot of 9s. And 99. Okay? Can you visualize what would happen after we saw what happened with 999 when we added 1? We would jump to the millions. So if we did this with our place value disc, so let's get 9 of my 100,000s. Put those up there, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Let's get my 10,000s up there. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 9. And then my 1,000s. Oops. 2, I'm really squishing these in here. 4, 6, 8, and 9. And you are probably already there before I even get these all set up. But let's still get them all here. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 9. So I have 9 hundreds, 9 in my thousands, 9 in my 10,000s, 9 in my 100,000s. And let's get 9 tens there now. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. And our very last place value are 1s. Let's get 9 of them there. I don't think I've ever had so many place value discs on the table before. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 9. So in that same way, what if I added 1 to my 1s? We want to add 1 to our 999,999. If I added 1, again, I would have 10. Move those away and rename it with a 10. I have 10. I'm going to move them away. And I'm going to rename my 10 tens with 100. Again, move them away because I have 10 of them. And I'm going to rename it with 1,000. I have 10,000s in there, so I'm going to rename it as a 10,000. Right here, I have 10 10,000s. 10 times 10,000 is 100,000. Now what's going to happen? Yeah, I have 10 of them. So I need to jump to my next period, which is my millions. And I'm going to have 1 million. So my number will be 1 million. All right. There we are. There's our 1 million and our one lonely place value disk. Okay, so the next one, we are not going to actually show them with place value disks. I think you've seen them enough now. But if I now gave you this last number, I gave you 999,999,999. All right. What would happen? Where's my house? Well, we need to build another house. Because if we add 1, we know what happens. We're going to keep renaming, and we need to go to this next spot. Anybody know what our next spot is called? Let me draw my house here. I heard you say billions. Yep, so this is going to be my billions. And just like all the other periods, I'm going to have 100 billion. Ooh, let's see if I can write it in there. I'm just going to actually write 100 billion because my space is so small here. And then I'm going to write 10 billion because I think you get the idea. And in this space, I'm just going to write billion. So yes, I had to add another house. So if we added 1 to this number, what would we have? 1 billion. So my 1 would go here in my billions spot, which would continue with all my zeros here. So we're going to play with our billions a little bit today. Here's our new number we're going to be working with. Now, would you believe me if I told you that in September of 2006, this was the world's population? There were 6,541,161,782-ish, probably, people on the earth. So this is going to be kind of what the number we're going to use to be working with it, kind of working through a few questions here. So if I asked you what numbers in the millions place, could you tell me? Yeah, our 1 is in our 1 millions. Now again, if we were to write this in expanded form, we played with this a little bit earlier in our warm-up when we did just our 9 digits. But now that we're adding 3 more digits, we'll be working with 12 digits, it works the same way. So to write this in expanded form, I would again write 6 billion as 6. I'd put a comma. Remember, my comma goes between each period here. 6 billion. And I'll put my big addition sign over here. I'd add 500 million, right? And then 40 million. I think you get the idea of this expanded form. Let's just do one more. Plus 1 million, okay? And then I would keep going, adding each one, and that would be my expanded form. Now, what if we were going to write this in words? What would that look like? So with words, here we go. It would read as 6. Oops, that was a slanted I, wasn't it? 6 billion. And you're going to notice that I'm actually going to put a comma, just like in my words, between each period also. So 6 billion, 541, oops, I'm going to come back over here, 41 million. What am I going to put here? Great, a comma. 161,000. 161. I don't I can fit it in here. 1,000, comma, 782. All right, so that actually we don't even need a period. It's not technically a complete sentence. So this is how we would write our number in words. Now we talked about the periods, or the commas between each of the periods. What else do you notice about the words? You might have noticed there is a hyphen between our tens and our ones. We see it here. We see it here between our tens and our ones, and we also see it here. So that's something also to make note of when you're writing out your numbers in words. All right, we're going to play with a couple more numbers here with our population. Now, if I said 4 was in our 10 millions place, and I asked you, that would equal 4 times what? What would we multiply by our 4 for it to equal 40 million, right? So 4 is in our 10 million, so 4 tens, 4 10 million, or 40 million. We'd multiply our 4 by 10 million, right? Okay, and we can see that with our 4, if we multiplied it by our 10 million, it would equal our 40 million, which we already wrote out in expanded form, but we can see that up there. How many zeros do I have after my 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if my 4 was here, and how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good, we got it right. Let me give you one more. So with that one, 6, this is going to equal 6 times what? What would we multiply by 6 to get 60,000? 10,000. Okay, it is in the 10,000th place. All right, great job. We're going to actually work with a different number now. So if I gave you 2,934,500,700, and I asked you, what is 10 million, here, I'll write it down here. What is 10 million less than this number? Be thinking about that while I write it. What is 10 million less than this number? All right, well, you might have first thought, well, how would I write 10 million? How many place values? I wouldn't have any zeros. Would I have any thousands? Doesn't look like it. Would I have any 1 millions? Nope. But I would have 10 million. I have a 1 of my 10 millions. So if I were to subtract that, because I want 10 million less than this number, what would I get? 2,900,000,000. 3 minus 1 is going to give me my 2, right? 2,924,500,700. All right, so you see I subtracted my 1 from my 3 in my 10 millions when I was subtracting 10 million. Let's do one more quick one. Okay, I might have squeezed it in here, but my next question is, what is 100,000 less than this number? So 100,000. Great, you might have even found your 100,000th place here. So I don't have any ones, but what I'm looking for, do I have 1,000? No. Do I have 10,000? No. Do I have 100,000? Yes, I'm subtracting 100,000, just one of them, one of my 100,000s. So our final answer would be again. We can start over here. There are zeros. 0 from my 7 is going to give me 7. 0 from 0. 0 from 0. My 1 from my 5 is going to give me that 4. Great. And then the millions, 10 millions, 100 millions, and billions. So this will be my final answer if I'm going to be subtracting 100,000 from this number. Great job, guys. All right, let's play with some subtraction right now. So if I gave you 10 million and we wanted to subtract, let's subtract 100 from it. Okay. Now, I don't have a 10 million place value disk because there's just too many numbers to fit on the disk, but I drew it. So I have one disk of 10 million right here, and obviously nothing else in the rest of my values here. Now, if I need to subtract 100, I'm going to need to go way down here to borrow, right? Because there's nothing I can borrow. I have 0 in each of these values. So I'm going to need to borrow or rename my 10 million for 10 of my 1 millions. So let's get our 10 there. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Okay, so I can get rid of that. But I need to keep going, don't I? I need to borrow it, so I'm going to borrow 1. Because I have 10. Remember, I can't have 10 in one column, so I'm going to borrow it. And now I'm going to switch out my 1 million for 10 of my 100,000s. You probably see where I'm going with this. So there we go. I have 10, but do I need 10 over there? Or can I have 10 over there? No. So I need to take 1, and I'm going to rename my 100,000, and I'm going to, grab 10 of my 10,000s. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Oops. Do I need to rename again? Yes, I do. All right, here we go. I'm going to take 1 of my 10,000s and then again rename it and put 10 of my 1,000s in here. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Do I need to keep going? Yes. We're going to take this and rename this one also. And we're going to rename my 1,000 into 10 of my hundreds. Now, what am I subtracting? I'm subtracting just 100. So I've renamed everything here. And if I subtract, now at this point, I'm not going to rename it. I'm just going to subtract it now because that's what I'm subtracting. So if I subtract it, now let's look at the number that we have. We have, and I'm going to write it down here, and I'm going to try to keep these columns. I don't have any 10 millions, right? That's a 0 there. But I have 9 million. I'm going to erase that. 999,900. Okay, you see what we did there when we actually subtracted 100. And if you notice, I have 9s all the way through until my hundreds when we subtracted 100. And then we have our 2 zeros at the end here. We didn't do anything with those columns. What if then I said we're going to subtract 10,000? How would that be different? Can you do that in your head without the place value disks? Yeah, if we were to subtract 10,000, then our number would be, we would still have 9 million, and we'd still have 900,000, and we'd still have our 10,000s, but we would subtract 1, which left us with our 9, whoops, and we would have no thousands, no hundreds, no tens, and no ones. Okay, you see how we subtracted 10,000? This was technically 100 9,000. And if I subtract 10,000, it would give me 990 thousandths. All right, great work, you guys. One last problem. We're going to quickly talk about greater than and less than. I have given us two numbers here, and I am wondering if you could look at them and know which one might be greater than the other. Sometimes it's hard to figure out right away, so this is a great technique to use. I'm going to write my numbers this way: 9,161,923. And then I'm going to write my second number below it. I'm going to make sure I line them up so I know I have 0 in my ones, 1 in my tens, 4 in my hundreds, and then my thousands are 326, so I can do my 326,000, and then my 9 million. So I wonder, by looking at it this way, if it's easier to decipher which one is greater than the other. So it looks like in our millions place, these equal each other. But then I'm going to hop over to my 100,000ths place. You noticed it already, I'm sure, but my 3 is greater than my 1. So I have 3 over 300,000 here, but just 100,000 here. So which number is greater? That number would be greater. And you can probably get into the mindset too by looking at it. You can think, here are my ones, my tens, my hundreds, right? Thousands, 10,000, 100,000s, millions. But again, these numbers here are a greater value. So you're going to start on this side to determine which number is greater. This one has more in the 100,000s place. All right, you guys, great work today. I had so much fun with you, and I'll see you in our next lesson.